What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another entertainment video, y'all. Thanks for stopping by. Hit like, drop a comment, hit subscribe, hit share, do it all, do whatever you can. Let's help grow this channel. But for real, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for using some time to catch an entertainment video, y'all. If you're in Chicago, you better be staying warm. It's freezing out there. Don't fall. You'll bust your stuff outside. Turn that car on early. Get out there early. But in other good news, guys, the Bears are undefeated this year. It's 2025. Bears have not lost a game. We can't even lose another game until at least like September, October. So enjoy the next 7 or 8 months. We didn't win a game for 2.5 months. So enjoy it right now. We're 1-0 in 2025. I'm sure all of you guys already know the Bears beat the Green Bay Packers 24-22. Last second field goal. Same exact way that the Week 11 game was playing out, but this time we came through. Field goal actually went in. We didn't get it blocked. We called a timeout when we needed to. We made the right play when we had to. And we snapped 2 losing streaks, guys. The Bears were on 2 losing streaks, an 11-game losing streak to the Green Bay Packers, which we ended that. And we were on a 10-game losing streak this season. That finally ends. We haven't won a game since October. So 2024, 2025, we're flipping the page. It's a new season, y'all, and you're damn right I'm going to bask in this win. We haven't won anything. I got to be happy about something. Every weekend, I've been pissed. I lost fantasy. Bears lost. At least now the Bears are back in the winning circle. And Caleb Williams, 21 for 29, 148 yards. He threw a touchdown to DJ Moore. Finally, those two look like they were finally getting on sync. And they asked DJ Moore after the game, what do you think about the win? What does that mean? And he just said, fuck them. And he's talking about the Green Bay Packers, and I feel the same way, y'all. If you're a cheesehead, I'm sorry, but I'm just not rocking with you. I don't care how bad the Bears are. I don't care how dysfunctional we are. There is no way I could root for a team that is just cheese. That's got to be the lamest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But the Bears, they had a nice little trick play. We were talking about it in our group chat, like, yo, the Bears would wait until the end of the season, no games left. Like, yo, we're going to whip out this trick play. We're going to get our 5th win, and this is what's going to happen. It reminds me of those memes when you see where it's like Chris Paul hits a 3 and the Spurs are down 50, stuff like that, where you get all pumped up. And that's kind of how this win was. Like, that trick play happened. I was like, I keep wiping my eyes. Like, am I looking at the right team? You just kind of learn that you think things are going to go bad. You think the Bears are going to ruin it. And this game, they finally kind of did the complete opposite. Towards the end, they were able to pull it out. And we got to be real. Jordan Love did get hurt. He was out. We went up against Malik Willis. But I hear it time and time again. If we lost to Malik Willis, we would have been hearing it. Like, oh, the Bears can't even beat our backup. So when we beat the backup, you damn right we're going to say something. We got to say something. We ended up with a 60-point differential. We got outscored this season, just kind of defeated on all facets right now. But it was a big game, man. When you beat your rival, I don't care what the season looks like. You know, if you're from Green Bay, you know, if you're from Chicago or just Wisconsin, Illinois, that beef is real. There's so many people, even in Illinois, like fake Packers fans. I don't buy into it. If anybody that lives in Illinois is saying like we are talking about stuff like that about the Green Bay Packers, they're stunning, y'all. Like you can't be from Chicago, be in Illinois, and be a Green Bay Packers fan. Like, I just can't even rock with that. But a big W for us. Caleb Williams, this close to being 2-0 against the Packers in his rookie season. We're just a block field goal away from going 2-0 against our rivals. 2-0 against a team that's quote unquote owned us pretty much since I've been alive with Favre and Rodgers. So hopefully this win means something new in the rivalry. Hopefully it means something new for the team. And that's hard to say. We're in the NFC North, arguably the most loaded division in all the NFL. We got 3 teams in the playoffs. Detroit, the 1 seed, Minnesota, who record-wise would be like the 2 seed, but they ended up being the last team in. And you got Green Bay that also, well, Green Bay's the last team in. Then Minnesota going to be having to play away, even though they only ended up with 3 losses. But, you know, that's one thing you got to ask is, does this win mean anything for the franchise, for the Chicago Bear franchise? Obviously, it doesn't have any short-term ramifications. We still missed the playoffs. We still had an awful season. But for morale, man, I cannot imagine if we would have gone into the offseason with 11 losses in a row. You just have to get a win at that point. We were fiending for a win. The fans, the players, I'm sure the coaching staff, everybody forgot what it felt like to even have a Bears win. So I think as important as it could be, it was important for the future just to have some hope, man. You can't go into the offseason on an 11-game losing streak which is no hope when we had so much to begin the season with. So I think it's a statement just to show that we didn't give up. The team still came out and played hard, even though there was absolutely nothing to play for as far as like the record wise. Of course, in the NFL, all these players, they always have something to play for. They got to play for that next paycheck, play for the next contract. So you got to understand. And a lot of people were also asking like, hey, should the Bears have lost? Should they have made sure they lost to get a better draft position? I got to say no, man. I think the difference between our position, which we ended up at 10th, we could have got up to 7th, which maybe there's a player or two that slipped by, but I think winning and having that happen is always more important. I get it. You want to get draft picks, but that's not always a guarantee. And as a Bears fan, I know that because we always suck. So trust me, we've had so many good draft picks, and that doesn't necessarily add up to any type of wins. I think you got to win with whoever you got, set a culture so people come in expecting to win. Coaches come in expecting to win. Players know what to do when they come in here. And it seems like that's what we really need. But big news for the Bears. Ended the season. Big upset over the Packers, even if it was against the backup Willis. We'll take it. Caleb had another touchdown. Him and DJ Moore finally connected. We got a final drive where we called a timeout, able to set up the play, able to hit a field goal. It took us 18 weeks, 17 games, but we finally did something right, guys. So I was happy. I'll take it. It's like a moral victory, but that's what you got to do when you're a Chicago Bears fan, unfortunately. And I look normal on the outside, but inside my sports fan soul is just, it's crying because this is pretty sad that I'm like, yo, we won one game in 2.5 months and I'm pretty geeked up. But now that I keep talking about it out loud, it sounds worse, but whatever. Bears, we'll take it. Chicago, we're up for next season. We better get a bunch of offensive linemen. Bears better not jag this. They got to get after Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, somebody, man. They're throwing out Pete Carroll. I know Mike McCarthy now. Dallas declined that we could interview him, but I'll do some more videos about the coaching. Today we got to focus on the W, guys. Chicago Bears 1-0 in 2025. Big upset over the rival Green Bay Packers. And it is what it is, y'all. We're going to take the dub. Caleb Williams, everybody's been bagging on him. Look at the stats. Look at the game. By far the most talented quarterback we've had in probably ever, if not at least, probably ever. Jay Cutler had one hell of an arm, not as good as an athlete or creating plays as Caleb, which obviously it kills Caleb sometimes, but Caleb's the truth, y'all. We got to remember that. So Bears beat the Packers. NFL matchups I'll talk about in a few, but some other, let's keep talking Chicago here. The Bulls this past weekend, they had Derrick Rose Night. It was on Saturday. They played the New York Knicks. Bulls did end up winning that game. There was a bunch of legends in the building, or at least like quote-unquote Bulls legends. Luol Deng, Joakim Noah, John Lucas III, just all types of different players that were on that team. I said John Lucas III like he's a legend, but John Lucas is out there. Obviously, Tom Thibodeau was pretty dope that he coaches the Knicks, so he got to be there. But typical Bulls fashion, y'all. The Bulls host an entire Derrick Rose Night. They're propping it up, making videos. Everybody's geeked up. Ticket prices are going crazy. Then like 3 hours before the game, they make an announcement. We will not be retiring Derrick Rose's jersey tonight. That'll be next season. So, that's what the Bulls do. Like, we're going to have this Derrick Rose Night. Bulls fans are going to forget that we suck. Bulls fans are going to forget we have no hope. Everybody gets in there, gets all nostalgic. And then right when you're like, yo, I paid all this money, I'm going to see his jersey get retired. They're like, actually, come back next season because we're going to suck again. We need another distraction for next season to get the fans to come in, sell out, sell more merch. So trust me, Derrick Rose Night, I love Derrick Rose. Nobody's a bigger Derrick Rose fan than me, but it's sick. It sickens me to see the Bulls organization just using this man for clout. Straight up. They could have brought him back in to retire his jersey, sign a one-day contract. They didn't even want to do that. And now they're just milking D Rose. Like, yo, we'll have a D Rose Night, honor you, and then we'll retire your jersey. Like 1 year later, we're just going to milk D Rose for all the fandom that we know he brings. And it's sad, man. It's kind of like we just talk about being hopeless. At least the Bears have Caleb Williams. The Bulls are completely hopeless. We're like stuck in mediocrity. I think right now, again, we're 17-19, which it seems like we're always right at 500, right below 500, which is really no hope. Kobe White is good. Levine's good. Vooch is good, but they're all good. They're not great. None of them are taking us anywhere. Matas Buzelis, the rookie, we keep like wasting his time, sending him to the G League, all that. Just play him in the NBA, man. Like what? Who's Julian Phillips? Who's Dalen Terry? Who's Patrick Williams? None of them should be touching the floor ahead of Matas Buzelis. The rookie needs to play. That's pretty much the only guy we have that has a bright future, and they just leave him sitting on the bench, sending him to the G League. Bulls, I love Derrick Rose. I love Derrick Rose Night. But quit trying to distract us from the fact that we're nowhere right now. The franchise has no plans. We have no star to build on. The one rookie we do have that's good, they keep sending him to the G League. He's not playing enough. He needs to get ahead in the rotation. So don't fall into the trap, y'all. Yeah, but guarantee you I'll still be at the retirement for his jersey, but don't let them distract you guys. We're trash. I mean, 17 and 19, and they're like, they try to make that story, oh, the Bulls are playing hard. Like, I'm sick of it. It's every year, same thing, and it's like pretty much the same. You look at the recent games that we've lost real quick. Why is my mouse not getting stuck? Whoa. I might swerve in that corner. Whoa. Make sure you play that. But you take a look real quick at the right here. You see, this is like typical Bulls fashion here. Let's look at this before Christmas. 3-game winning streak, or we could go back. 2-game losing streak, 2-game winning streak. 2-game losing streak, 3-game winning streak. We beat Boston, lose Milwaukee, lose Atlanta. Then we bounce back, beat Milwaukee, beat Charlotte. Then we lose to the Wizards. Then we bounce back, beat New York, beat San Antonio in a good game last night. It's just like you look back and forth. This is just who the Bulls are. We're good, not great. We're good, we're not bad. Like, we could beat all these teams maybe one day, but then when it comes down to it, we can't really compete. We're not going to beat Dallas anytime. We're not going to beat Minnesota. Cleveland, when they want to beat us, they beat us. Look at this. We had a close game with them. They came out the next time and just were like, yo, forget this. Same thing, New York. We played them hard. We beat them again. But some of these games, it's the same thing. It's like we go up on this little roller coaster, and it's pretty much what it is to be a Bulls fan. You're up and down constantly. You don't know what's going to happen next. What's the plan? And right now we're in that position again. They keep saying Levine's up there. I think that's just Clutch Sports trying to get Levine traded. I don't think we're going to end up trading him. We got a better chance probably getting rid of Vucevic. But it's just the same old stuff, man. But shout out to Derrick Rose. He had that night, and not even Bulls related, but you heard me singing it right now. LiAngelo Ball, brother of Lonzo Ball. He dropped a banger, guys. Like, this isn't even anything to do with sports. If you haven't heard it yet, pull up that tweaker. LiAngelo Ball. He's like the middle brother. There's LaMelo. There's LiAngelo. There's LaMelo, LiAngelo, and Lonzo, and LiAngelo got that hit right now. He's the middle child. He didn't make the NBA. He had a couple of G League stints, but right now he's got himself a banger. He might swerve and bend that going, oh, that was cringe, but we're going to take it. But just random as hell. Tweaker, that LiAngelo Ball song, 12th most streamed rap song in the world yesterday, 1.32 million streams on Spotify, and he's now going to be performing at Rolling Loud. So LiAngelo, Jello, he didn't make the NBA. He was talking crazy with Cam, the rapper from It Is What It Is, now the show. And he kept talking about Cam's like, yo, I've been platinum. LiAngelo might go platinum. He might swerve and bend that corner. You never know. Oh. But go ahead and check it out, man. There's so many funny Twitter videos, and that song's just been going nuts in all types of places. All right, man. So we talked some Bears. We talked some Bulls. Let's get into just quickly these NFL matchups, y'all. So the Bears were eliminated. No shot. Nothing happening. See you next year. Who knows what's going to happen next year, too, because like I talked about, our division is stacked. Packers are always good. Vikings got Kevin O'Connell. They've been Justin Jefferson. They got a brick squad on the defense. Then you got, of course, the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson. Who is it? Aaron Glenn on the defensive side. The number one thing good for the Bears, at least in the NFC, hopefully we get Ben Johnson. Before I say his name wrong again, but if the Detroit defensive coordinator goes somewhere else, we're straight. Same thing for Minnesota. They're saying Brian Flores, potentially the Bears, potentially the Jets, all these other teams. So that's what's good for the Bears is some of these other teams have been so good that they might have to like break up a little bit because their coordinators are too much. But all right, y'all. So let's take a quick look here. We'll look at the AFC first. So on the left-hand side, you got the Kansas City Chiefs, 15-1. They got a bye. Other matchup, also out of the AFC West, you got the LA Chargers against the Houston Texans. Chargers wild card, Houston, they won their division. And if you don't know, if I'm just like a nerd, I'm like, oh, everybody knows how the rules are. NFL is a little bit weird. So there's 4 divisions. If you win your division, you get to be a top 4 seed. So that's why if you look here, Houston has technically a worse record than LA, but because Houston won their division, the Chargers didn't. They're in the same division as Kansas City. they get to be the home team. So Houston gets rewarded for winning their division, even though they have a worse record. And then big matchup here, big rivalry, one of the biggest rivalries in NFL history. Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens, both in the same division, both play each other 2 times a year. Two of the most familiar teams with each other in all the NFL. Lamar Jackson, MVP candidate. That's actually one team that he struggles against a lot. So we got to keep our eyes on that matchup. Then the other final matchup of the weekend for the AFC, the Denver Broncos going up to visit the Buffalo Bills, the AFC champions. So 3 really good matchups. If I would pick we'll take a look real quick. So those are the 3 matchups out in the AFC this weekend, starting on Saturday. Let me double check. Yep. So you got Chargers and Houston are going to be Saturday. Pittsburgh and Baltimore is going to be Saturday. Then in the NFC, we'll take a quick look. Let me move this little guy over here. So in the NFC, Detroit Lions, they had a bye. They're 15-2. Big win against Minnesota this past weekend. In the other matchup on the 12th, you're going to have the Green Bay Packers that the Bears just beat. Once again, shout out Chicago. The Green Bay Packers going up to Philadelphia, who won the NFC East. The wild card, Washington Redskins, again, another example of Tampa Bay won their division. They have a worse record, but Washington, since they didn't win their division wild card, they got to go play at Tampa. And then another example, same thing, Minnesota 14-3 has to go visit the LA Rams that are 10-7. So 6 games, all are going to be lit. They start on Saturday. I think the final game is going to be this Minnesota Rams game. That's going to be on Monday for Monday Night Football on ESPN, so that'll be dope. So no games Thursday, but you do have 2 games Saturday, or in 2 games Sunday. Yeah, 2 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday, 1 game Monday. So I was taking a look, pretty much trying to see what are the best matchups. So taking a look at these 6 matchups. Let me zoom in one more. There we go. So 6 matchups. I would say, to me, in order, the 3 most interesting matchups out of the 6 this weekend. Number 1, I got to go with the Ravens versus Steelers. Hands down, biggest rivalry probably in the NFL. Definitely the best rivalry out of all these matchups. Lamar Jackson typically does not play too well against the Steelers. And if there's ever going to be an upset in the first round, it's definitely going to be this type of matchup. You got division rivals. You have somebody that's very familiar with the other team, very familiar with their scheme. So this is going to be a big game, man. I'm kind of surprised it's on Saturday, but this is definitely the must-watch game on Saturday. No offense to the Chargers and the Houston Texans. Second most interesting matchup for me, maybe a little bit surprising to some, but I'm going to go with the Bills versus the Broncos. I mean, the Bills, as we know, somewhat surprising this year. They've just kind of been on Josh Allen's back. Josh Allen carrying them to the AFC East Championship, carried them all the way to the 2 seed. The Broncos, they have a really good defense. They have some good shutdown corners. And if you know about the Bills, I mean, they brought in Amari Cooper, but they don't really have, or he hasn't been that number 1 for them. They don't have that straight up go-to receiver. So I think Denver has a chance for the upset. Bo Nix, rookie, has been playing really well. Sean Payton, of course, a lot of experience. And it's kind of come down to like the team of the Broncos versus just Josh Allen, pretty much. I mean, Josh Allen favored to win the MVP, which is arguable against Lamar Jackson. But I'm going to say Bills versus Broncos, second most interesting matchup. And the third most interesting matchup to me of the 6 this weekend is the Los Angeles Rams versus the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota, of course, has a really good record, but they kind of slipped up in that game against Detroit. Sam Darnold never played a playoff game before. And then the Rams, kind of the opposite of what the Vikings are. Vikings, really good record, not a ton of experience together as a team winning. The Rams, the opposite, solid record. They've obviously won a Super Bowl, at least with Stafford and Sean McVay together. And they're maybe a little bit under the radar. The AFC West, or NFC West, my mistake, a little bit underwhelming this year. You know, the 49ers are really down year. Cardinals, not so good again. Obviously, the Rams were able to make the playoffs. But, you know, a little bit of a down year. Seahawks missed the playoffs. So I think this Minnesota Rams game is going to be legit. Luckily for both of these teams, they're playing indoor. Luckily for the fans, that'll make it a lot more entertaining. Both of these teams have crazy offenses, pretty good quarterbacks that could throw the ball around. But I think Stafford's got the upper hand. But I would say My three favorite matchups for this weekend for the NFL. Number one, Ravens versus Steelers. That rivalry just speaks for itself. You know that's going to just be a straight up brawl, straight up old school football game. I can't wait to watch. Number two, the Bills versus the Broncos. You got Josh Allen going up against that Denver Broncos defense. Can Superman keep it up? Favorite to win the MVP. I don't know if I agree with it, but it's going to be a big task for him to take down the Broncos. And the third most interesting matchup to me, LA Rams versus the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota has been on a tear all season. They kind of slipped up against Detroit. Sam Darnold has no playoff history. Obviously, Stafford and McVay have won a championship together. So I think the Rams somewhat got a chance here. They should be favored. So I think the three most interesting matchups for me, Ravens and Steelers, Bills versus Broncos, and the Rams versus the Vikings. So let me know what you guys think. Are there any other matchups this weekend that you're intrigued by, that you're set up to watch? I'm excited for all of them. I think they're all going to be good, but these three definitely stand out the most to me. But let me know what you guys think about that. And then lastly, real quick, just Jimmy Butler trade destination. So we talked some Bulls, we talked some football, NBA trade deadline coming up in February. A lot of big names. I'm just like here clicking tabs. A lot of big names questioned to be on the move. You're hearing, of course, Zach LaVine. Some people are saying Zion. People are talking Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Jimmy Butler, Bradley Beal. But Jimmy Butler right now, 100% confirmed. He wants out of Miami. Miami's confirmed. They're talking to other teams. They're just going to try to work to see what they could get. Butler wants to get an extension. They don't want to extend them for that amount. And he is up there. I think he's 35 now. Yeah, he's 35 September. So this year he'll turn 36. But you take a look and he really is, Jimmy's got to be, to me, Jimmy's the most impactful player that's available right now. Yeah, Bradley Beal's good. Yeah, Zach LaVine's good. Yeah, Brandon Ingram. They're all solid players, but Jimmy Butler, we've seen him deliver. We saw him take Miami all the way to the finals. We saw what happened when he was on Philadelphia. That was probably the best chance they had when they lost on that game winner where Kawhi hit every part of the rim. I've seen him personally on the Bulls. You see Jimmy really has that impact on the game, offense, defense. Dude is super clutch. Shots that he makes like in the postseason, he doesn't make in the regular season, like an opposite of what some of these other guys are. But NBA insider Chris Haynes reported Tuesday that the Memphis Grizzlies, along with a few other teams, were informed that Butler does not have any interest in being traded there. So he's not going to give a list, they're saying, to Miami, but he does have places that he's open to playing with versus places he's not open to playing with. He's already contradicting himself, man. He was like, I'll go anywhere in the NBA. And now he's already like leaking out like, yo, don't trade for me. Don't trade for me. Don't trade for me. So whether any list exists or not or whatever, pretty much what Chris Haynes is reporting is that makes it clear that the six-time All-Star does, in fact, have a preferred landing spot or two. So Jimmy Butler, first he came out, was like, I want to be traded, but I'll go anywhere. It doesn't matter. I'll make any team a contender. But now, according to Chris Haynes, Yahoo Sports, we're hearing little rumblings that like, well, I don't want to go to Memphis. I don't want to go to this team. So players are going to say one thing. They're going to do whatever else behind the closed doors. But as of right now, it kind of seems like the Phoenix Suns are the top destination. It looks like where he's going to end up. Seems like it's the best fit. Seems like the money can match up, especially if Beal or waive is no trade clause. And another team that was linked to him, the Warriors, they've come out and said, according to Mark Spears, that they're more focused on going after a center, getting a big man, that they'd be cool with bringing Wiggins, Kuminga back, running it back. So it makes sense determining, especially the Warriors, what they'd have to give up. Then you pretty much are worrying about Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry being on that same timeline versus what it seems like the Warriors want to do, which is kind of have like that up-and-coming young guy, maybe a Kuminga that could rise up. But taking a look at some of it, I was looking around, I did a little bit of digging, like where would Jimmy Butler go? Like realistically, what does it look like? I came up with 5 destinations. I would say 3 of them are probably more legit. 2 I added in there because I think there's still options, even if they're a long shot. And plus 5 just sounds better than like, yo, these are 3 spots that Jimmy Butler might go to. But, Scoozy. So these would be my 5 destinations for Jimmy Butler. So 5 destinations I think the Miami Heat could trade Jimmy Butler to. Number 1, of course, the Phoenix Suns. That's the hot name. Everybody's talking about it. That fit with him, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. He's kind of that piece that they're missing, a wing defender, somebody tough, somebody gritty. Number 2, I'll go with the Denver Nuggets, man. A lot of people might be sleeping on that. I think that Jimmy Butler would fit perfectly with Nikola Jokic, perfectly with Jamal Murray. And I think that's a seamless fit. You put him in there. He does a little bit of what KCP used to do and Bruce Brown combined in one. You know, dude is an absolute baller, absolute winner. And the Nuggets need something. And I think that could be a big piece for them, even though it hasn't been talked about at all. Number 3, I think Philadelphia 76ers, man. He was already a part of that team. They brought in Paul George. That seems like a complete wash. I don't know what they could do. I don't think Miami probably wants to take Paul George back. But if Philadelphia could get Jimmy Butler, definitely makes them a threat back in the East. And number 4, the Dallas Mavericks. I think Luka, Jimmy, Kyrie, I think that's a formidable 3. Really hard to beat. I really think the Mavericks are probably going to come out of the West again. The biggest thing, though, is Mavericks have crazy depth, crazy roster. So they had to really, dig into that roster, trade away some players to bring in Jimmy. I don't know if they'll do that. They already brought in Clay. PJ Washington's there, Gafford's there, Dinwiddie's there. They might feel better about the collective versus bringing him in, but he would definitely make an impact. And then number 5, it seems like they're linked to everybody, but he would be a good fit on their team, the Los Angeles Lakers. They need defense. They need guards. And if you could live with, maybe trading a Reeves, trading Hachimura, some youth for this, it makes the most sense. You're in a window right now. I don't think there's any favorite in the West. The Thunder are still really young. Chet Holmgren's still hurt. So I think Los Angeles Lakers, they're linked to everyone, but this could actually make sense. And if you notice, so you take a look at the list. So I got 5 teams where I think Jimmy Butler will go to. You got Phoenix Suns, you got the Denver Nuggets, Philadelphia 76ers, Dallas Mavericks, Los Angeles Lakers. And I think these are all from like a basketball fit where he can make an impact, actually impact winning. And if you notice, 4 of these are out West. One thing about Pat Riley, he's not going to shoot himself in the foot. He's not going to hurt Miami for the future. So I really do think if Jimmy gets traded, it's probably going to be to the Western Conference. And these 5 teams right here I listed out, I think that's just where he has the best fit, best chance to make an immediate impact on the team. So once again, my top 5 destinations for Jimmy Butler. Went with the Phoenix Suns. That fit with KD and Devin Booker seems seamless. The Denver Nuggets, a little bit of a shocker, but I think him, Jokic, and Murray would be a crazy big 3, and he kind of gives Denver a defender, another scorer, another playmaker, exactly what they need right now. Third, the Philadelphia 76ers. He was already there. Joel Embiid likes him. Paul George hasn't really worked out. Maybe if Miami's willing to take PG back, I think the Sixers would be a really good fit again. Number 4, the Dallas Mavericks. Kyrie, Luka, Jimmy Butler. That's a really crazy 3 for your 1, 2, 3s right off the bat. You're set. You're good to go. But I don't know if Dallas just want to give up any depth. Then number 5, the Los Angeles Lakers, man. Jimmy Butler, LeBron, AD. You can't argue with that. I know that they're all old. I know they're getting up there in age, but it does fit into that window. They're not going to win anything with Reeves and Hachimura once LeBron's gone. So if they want to try to win now, next year, make it happen right now. But let me know what you guys think, y'all. Is there another team that I'm not thinking about? I just really think he's going to have to go out West. I don't think Pat Riley will leave him in the East, but we'll see what happens. Got a couple more weeks left to the trade deadline, but drop a comment, y'all. Let me know what you think. Bears beat the Packers. We're undefeated, y'all. Bears undefeated 2025. You can't even talk about it. That's all you can say. Packers, I'm sorry, not sorry. Chicago, we got bragging rights for at least 7 or 8 months. Stand on that. Don't forget it, y'all. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget, hit like, drop a comment, hit subscribe, share the video, y'all. Let's just do it. Why not? What are you waiting for? Deuces.